Good evening. Thank you all so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started. This will be quite a brief presentation on my end. And then we'll have some time to socialize and kind of mingle. So my name is Molly Nolte. I'm the Management Information Specialist for the City of Janesville. I've been here for about a year or so. One of my first kind of special events right when I started working here was the Volunteer Appreciation event for last year. So it's fun to be here once again. Thank you all again for joining us. This is our annual Volunteer Appreciation event. We're so excited to have you all in the new council chambers. The last couple years, the event was held at the fire station, so we're really fortunate and excited to have you all here in this nice new space if you haven't been already. I'd like to start out by thanking a few people for helping me put this event together. I couldn't have done it without Maggie Darr, Carrie Salis, and then the two interns in the city manager's office who are not here, but Jordan Salzman and Anna Catlin. So I'd like to give them a round of applause. I'd also like to say thank you to Mr. Edmund Halabi from the Italian House. He was the one who provided the delicious legacy sandwiches that I see you're enjoying. So thank you to Mr. Halabi. He's a great supporter of the city. We appreciate him. And I'd like to recognize a couple of special guests today. We have our council president, Mr. Doug Markline, and we also have council member Sue Conley is here. There she is. So thank you both so much for joining us today. So today the city is recognizing its over 600 volunteers, over 600, that's an amazing number. They allow Janesville to function smoothly every day. They're really so important. We have a little over 500 staff people, so if you think about that, our volunteers effectively double our staff, which is pretty amazing. And our volunteers fill so many roles. There are committee members, our friends groups, our poll workers, library volunteers, our senior center and recreation program volunteers, police and fire department have volunteers that help out with them, our neighborhood group members, and there's so many more to mention. You, our volunteers, provide a truly invaluable contribution to the Janesville community by lending your time, your talent, and support to improve the city in many countless ways. We thank each and every one of you for your service and for being here today. And I'd like to welcome our Council President, Doug Markline, up to say a few words.
Molly said pretty much what I was going to say in so many words, and the biggest one was thank you. And there's really two types of volunteers that volunteer for the city of Janesville, and you can be both. The first one are the Tuesday morning quarterbacks that opine on what we did and what we're doing. But more valuable than that are the volunteers that give of their time, their energy, their expertise, their love of the city, and that's really what we're celebrating today, is you're giving up something very precious, your time, but at the same time, you're not giving up anything. You're gaining something. You're gaining some insight in how the city works. You're gaining the satisfaction of a task well done, and that really is beneficial to the city, and I think also, speaking for myself, beneficial for myself. You just feel better as a person that you're contributing, that you're doing something. And a lot of the volunteers that we have, you get started, they're not really sure how it's going to work out, or people will accept them and whatever, and then they find out they've been doing it 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 20 years. They really enjoy it, and there's a lot of people here I can see that have been doing it for many years, and we thank you so much for your efforts over all the years. Our organizations, our parks, our senior centers, our libraries would not be what they are without the help of all our volunteers, and it's just invaluable for the city. So once again, thank you so much for all that you do, and I hope you take away from it as much as I take away from it, a good self-satisfaction of a job well done. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Council President Markline, for those nice remarks. At this time, I would like to invite any of you who would like to share with the group some of your experience as a volunteer for the City of Janesville. You can tell us about a project that you've completed in the last year, how you contribute to this community, maybe a funny story if you have one, or why you continue to volunteer for the city. I do have a microphone, so if anyone would like to share, I'd welcome you to raise your hand or stand up, and I will come meet you out on the floor. Anyone want to be brave?
David Kress from the Friends of Riverside Park. Just wanted to mention the one project that I'm quite involved in this year. We got a grant for a couple $1,000s for a new Gaga ball pit. And I don't know if people know what that is. It's kind of like dodgeball, but we're ordering the plasticized wood so it'll last for 50 years. This is something we're planning to assemble on May 19th and put in Riverside Park. I don't know if you got anything.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who has anything to share?
Richard Snyder, Friends of Oak Hill Chapel. As you know, we had our grand opening last June, and I believe the city puts that day aside now for the Oak Hill Chapel Day. And right now the chapel is available for rent. You can rent it for $150 for a half a day. And it's pretty much ready to go. We are having hand railings put on the front, the north and the south side. They should be done this week. And the new fountain that Tom Carlson has arranged through a company that he used to deal with down in Illinois has put together a very close to the same style as what was there before. And it's a 3-tier fountain that is probably over 8 feet high and 48 in diameter. We're leaving the base still in the ground, and we're probably going to highlight this new fountain as the bases that we did with the different colors. It's going to be a flower bed fountain, basically, instead of the water. And that is really, those two things are the final items that we really need up at the chapel, and it's totally completed at this point. But it was a great venture to get into, a 5-year project, and we work up there every Thursday morning. We were up there today. We covered the north or the south side windows. The sills are like a seat. A lot of people like to sit there, and it'd be so easy to put your elbow through a stained glass window that we covered it with plexiglass to deter that. But it's just, you walk through those front doors and it's just awesome, that building. If you haven't seen it, come on up and take a look at it. It's just unbelievable. Amazing that we finally got it done after 5 years, and it's been a passion of mine and continues, and hopefully we'll be there to take care of it for many more years. So thank you, everybody. It was a community project that the community of Janesville came together and donated for us to do this, and working with the city staff was a pleasure, and the council as well. I mean, everybody was right on board with this, and I thank you all personally.
Anyone else?
So my name is Tammy Brown, and I volunteer as a poll worker, and I happen to be assigned to the LDS Church, which is the part of the city of Janesville that is also the Milton School District. So this past election, we were really, really super busy. We were kind of prepared for it with the referendum. People who know me know that I love a challenge. So whenever there was, I volunteered to be a poll worker because I like to see democracy in action, and it's a very long day, but the day goes really fast, especially at LDS Church the last few elections. But people who know me know that I love a challenge, and I'm always the first to jump up from my table to go help at another table when someone has a question or doesn't know what needs to be done. Halfway through the day on this last election, one of the poll workers who had been there for a really long time, had been a poll worker for a long time, approached me and she said, "Have you ever thought about being a chief election inspector?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I never really thought about it, I guess." And she said, "Well, she and the girl that were working the table with, she said, we've been talking about it, and we think you'd be really good at it. So do us a favor and contact Dave Godek in the morning. So I did. I emailed Dave the next morning and I said, I'd like a little bit more information about being a chief election inspector. And he said, yeah, I've already had a couple of people reach out to me, so we planned on reaching out to you. So it really is rewarding. If you've never volunteered to be an election inspector, I know that the city needs lots and lots and lots more of them. So I encourage you to do so if you have the time to do it. It really is fun to see democracy in action and to be recognized, to be good at what you do and have someone recognize that really was fulfilling for me.
That's a very sensitive microphone. Hello? My name is Charles Zine. I serve on the Historic Commission, along with Brian over here, and what are 5 others, are there? 6 others. My wife and I moved here to Janesville about 4 years ago from Oak Park, Illinois, which has a wealth of historic homes. And as an architect, I was happy and thrilled to be living and working there. But we chose Janesville also on the basis of the historic neighborhoods that we have and the care and attention that organizations like the Historic Commission work at to maintain those neighborhoods and the look of the homes and assist the homeowners in understanding the value of maintaining their homes as they have been for some of them 100 years. So we chose, we found a wonderful historic home up on Garfield, and we're in the process of restoring it. But I'm grateful to those people in the past, and I don't know when. Brian, when were the historic districts laid out in 1980s and the overlay district? I'm grateful for whoever it was serving on whatever commission back then decided that those neighborhoods and the look of those neighborhoods and the old homes was worth preserving. So I'm proud to have served for the last 2 years on that same commission, and I hope that effort continues and that we realize the value, of what the town looks like. That's it.
All right, thank you all for sharing those wonderful experiences. Let's have a round of applause for all of you. Again, I cannot express enough how grateful the city is for your service. If you've not done so yet, please take some time to sign the document outside the main doors. It's on the other side of the windows. What we do is we take that and we put it into a plaque and we hang it right here in this hallway for the whole year for people to see who our volunteers are. And also, if you've not done so, there is a table at the back of the room full of giveaways, so please do help yourselves before you leave. And thank you all again for coming out to the City of Janesville's Volunteer Appreciation Event and for everything you do, and we hope to see you next year. Thank you.